Peace, y'all, and welcome to Gather and Heal, the podcast. My name is Vanessa Suhey, and I am your holistic host. Basically, we're going to have lots of combos. Sometimes it'll be just me, and sometimes we'll have some guests. No matter what the topic is, though, I'm going to make sure that it connects right back to your emotional wellness and healing journey.
Peace, y'all, and welcome back. I am super honored and super blessed to have Leila join me on today's episode. Leila is my spiritual mentor. So if you ever heard me reflect on some of our conversations, now y'all can put a beautiful face to her name. And so today we're going to talk a little bit about expansion and wanting more and giving ourselves permission as Black and Brown women to want more and go for it, right? And throughout today's conversation, Leila, of course, will drop in her gems, tips, and tricks, all while we're laughing and just having a dope conversation. So that's enough of me. Leila, tell us, who are you? Who are your people? What do you enjoy doing?
Oh my goodness. I'm Leila Rose. I am an energetics mentor and intuitive coach. I'm sure you're all saying, like, what is that? And so it is a beautiful mix of spirituality and energetics because they actually are two different things. And so I navigate and help women leaders, so either corporate employees or entrepreneurs who have hit a certain place in their life and want more. Actually, along with the topic of today, the expansion. Sometimes we hit goals in certain places in our lives and we're like, hey, this isn't quite aligned. I was hoping to feel better or be happier or more fulfilled by this accomplishment. So then we crave more impact. We crave more money. We crave more freedom, more expansion to be, do, and have. And so I help women navigate through that with spiritual principles, simple and easy spiritual principles, not the complicated ones, and energetics, the physics of being a soul inside a human body. How do you become a magnet for everything you desire? Period. The end. Right.
That's it.
Right. You know.
Well, that magnet part, right? So as you say that, I'm remembering how we connected and how I met you. You had put something in a shared Facebook group that we were in. You were talking about your offer. And yeah, I kid you not, I didn't even understand what you were offering. And I was like, let me sign up.
Yeah.
And I signed up and it's what I needed, right? And that's, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, but like that's that magnet that for me feels like it was beyond my human level and that it was our souls that were called. My soul that said, I don't care if on a human level you don't understand what she's offering, but you need what she's got.
That's beautiful. Two things there. One, you had to be far enough, how do I explain it? Connected enough to your soul and spirit to be magnetizing what you needed. And I had to be magnetizing what I was ready to give and serve to. And I do a lot of energetic work on calling in my soulmate clients, as I call it. So that magnetism applies to anything. And understanding that the magnetism happens on emotion. When I posted that post, it was such from a loving place of wanting to meet people and serve and help. And then as I called clients in, like I call it, I focus so much on how I want them to feel working with me, how I want to feel working with them, how I want to be I want there to be a soul's recognition because I want you to get what you need and I want to get what I need, have a beautiful exchange. And to this day, I'm still experiencing that because it is so important to me and I focus on it. And whatever we focus on expands, right? And the energetics of it. when people talk about manifesting, becoming an energetic match, it is feeling that communicates to the universe, right?
Mm.
Not just thoughts. It is a feeling that magnetizes it. That's when you have those strong prayers and then they happen, or like you get mad and something shifts, or it's
Yep.
emotion really drives this whole place.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Which,
yeah, go ahead.
well, I was just going to say that, as you mentioned, manifesting, I feel like it's all over the place. It's this
Yeah.
buzzword and so on and so forth. But the way you're describing it, the feeling behind it, I mean, that lands beautifully with me because it's part of what I believe. So, like when I'm talking to clients and we're working on some affirmations and how they talk to themselves, I always tell them, I was like, you can't bullshit your way through this. Like, don't just read this statement and not believe it about yourself. So then, of course, they look at me and they're like, well, then what am I supposed to say? Because I don't believe these statements, right? Then I'm like, well, we need to tweak it, right? So I use the example of like, okay, I wake up and I'm working on the affirmations about how I feel and how I look. So I might say something like, oh, I am happy today and I look beautiful. Meanwhile, there's a part of me who's like, that's bullshit. Like you don't feel that way. So then what I want the client to do after is to make that alter that says, okay, I may not feel beautiful completely, but I really like my hairstyle today, or I really like this cute shirt that I'm wearing today, right? Like,
Yeah,
and reframing it to believe it. And
I
I feel
love
like
that.
that's what you're saying with the manifestation. And you can't just, I want this, but then not have the feeling behind it to amplify it.
Yeah, there's so many nuances that aren't spoken about or that aren't explained well. And we manifest differently. Like we
Mm.
have different ways of magnetizing. So one way is one, if a teacher is teaching it a certain way or explaining it in a certain way and it doesn't resonate with you, that's because that might not be your way. Manifestation itself is actually taught in a lot of ways to visualizations. Some
Yes, it
people
is.
can't visualize. I didn't even know this. Some people can't visualize. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
whoa. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a big miss there. Um, and for people who use affirmations, right? It's exactly what you said. Something has to make you feel a certain way to change your belief system inside of yourself so you can start vibrating out the truth of what you want to receive. And there's nuances like even when you name something you want, are you naming it in the energy of fear and lack? Or are you
Mm.
naming it in the energy and rooting of love and expansion and having? Because one of the biggest the two things people do this with is money and love, romantic love specifically. They feel such lack in it. And they're like, I need money, I need money, I need love. I'm so lonely, I'm so lonely. Okay, that feeling of loneliness, that
Mm.
feeling of not having money is actually what you're saying to the universe. I don't have money. I don't. It's literally like you're saying, don't give me money, don't give me money, don't give me money.
Which is the wrong message that people want to send.
That's why you rub up against it so much, right? So it's this like, okay, I'm lonely. I want love. And then just asking for it in a place of love for yourself.
Mm.
I love myself. I know I'm worthy. I know that person will come. And a little piece about releasing the past. Hasn't worked out, but I believe it that now I can.
Mm-hmm.
Rooted in love, rooted in love, rooted in love. Um, that's the vibration, the frequency you want to give. So when people talk about write what you want, million times, I'm like, oh my God, this is making me feel worse, not better. So I recently told, I don't know where I said this. I was like, if you want to become a master manifester, master emotions, when you
Mm.
meditate, practice feeling, just feel what it will be like to have the amount of money you want in the bank account. Feel in your whole being what it feels like. That is practicing the frequency of what you are putting out, and touch on it every day. Just, you only need 30 seconds, 1 minute of feeling that person coming into your life, that amount of money coming into your life. You just need to get yourself to have a big old smile on your face about it. Say thank you, move on. Remember, right? Everything I do is simple and powerful, and I don't need you naked under a moon writing 300.
For a
I
few
don't need you.
hours.
This whole universe is driven by emotion, intention, and focus, rooted in love. And so the simplest things are just that. And how that all works into expansion is this beautiful thing about, we have so many desires, right? All the time. We reach a goal, we're on to the next. And what I've been conveying to people, especially during this beautiful super moon, which we just got out of, is that, like, you understanding that your soul is designed for expansion. The fact that you always want more means it's working right. It's here. You are here to learn, to grow, to feel deeper places of love, of joy, of excitement, of all the good emotions, right? You're here to expand and learn that. And also, honestly, also negative. Feeling those feelings, that's a learning to your soul too. Like, wow, look how deeply I can hurt and how deeply I can heal and transition through. So that yearning inside of you, that soul yearning, creates this strong desire for stuff. And then you get mad because, like, it's not happening, because the how is the hot mess inside of us, right? Like, how do I get the stuff? Because your soul, like, you're meant to, this is what's so hard. You're meant to have it. It's yours, the life partner, the house, everything. And then inside of you, it's like you see this stuff around you and you're like, but where is it? How do I do this? And so that's what I really teach and work people with is, okay, the how really isn't your business.
I remember when you first said that to me, I was like, what? Literally the opposite of what I've been told up to this point in my life.
Yeah.
This is how you do it.
Humans are all about doing.
Yeah.
Doing. And this universe is built on attracting. If you're doing so much, you're not even giving space to receive. And even receiving is an art. Can't receive a compliment. How are you going to receive a life partner? You can't receive great feedback on your review. How are you going to really receive a raise and be proud of yourself? Energy is so everything. The root of everything you feel and you experience is determining how the world mirrors back to you.
And when people start working with you and you're working on this, don't worry about the how, let's talk about your feelings and putting that emphasis behind it. How do you navigate it? Say, for example, for the people who can't visualize it, or the people who are like, I don't know what that feels like. Because I think that comes up right on the mental health end of things when I'm trying to support my clients in connecting with their body or connecting with feelings. And they're just like, I don't know.
Yeah. So I mentioned that, people have different ways of manifesting. So it's understanding. I like using evidence. I like going back in my life and thinking about, okay, when I called in, as an example, when I called in, I had a reel that went viral at the end of last year. I was like, how did I do that? How did I call in that reel? Or I was in Women's Health magazine. I was like, how did I do that? And what I know about myself is a couple of things. I either get really mad and surrender. I get mad. I'm like, fuck it, I don't want this anymore. Right? I'm like, I'm burning my whole business down. And then I like go on a walk or go hang out with my kids. And then I have like 3 sales calls and like, and everything booms because I was in my way, because I'm trying to control it. So there's a surrendering anger. That's a process for me. And actually, I'm starting to find it's a process for some other people too. And it's good. It's good to get mad and say, I'm going to burn it all down, because what you are experiencing is a lot of contradiction. Your soul knows it's supposed to be easier, and you're over here overdoing it.
Working so hard.
You get mad. So it's good. Then you get tired, you stop, and your guides are like, finally, she got out of the way. Now we can deliver her stuff. Yeah. This girl was all in the way. I mean, if you can, because I'm very playful with the way that I work energy, this is the way I experience the higher realms and the help and the support. And so the other piece is for another piece that's really strong for me is deciding. It's like I decide with no attachment. And the reel and the magazine were the same. In the reel, it was literally, the magical shower. Sometimes we get out of the shower, we're so inspired. And I energetically was like, it would be so fun. So look, positive emotion. Fun. It would be so fun to like call in 10,000 future clients, because I didn't want them all now, right? I couldn't handle 10,000. What am I going to do with 10,000 people? I said
a little bit,
right? And it was like a 30-second in my brain conversation. It would be so fun to have, 10,000 future clients. And then I said, what if the algorithm just loved me? And it was like, ooh, I'm going to just massaging the algorithm to like be right what I need to get 10,000 more people on Instagram. Like a couple days later, I did an activation, which for your audience that doesn't know what that is, it's like a spiritual, really strong prayer that you release stuff you don't need, you realign, you call in some things. So I did just an activation. I didn't think about that thought that I had about this reel. Like a day or two later, this thing starts going and going and going. And I was like, oh man, maybe I'll get to 25,000. It was 1.6K views. And the process was so easy that I just was like, that would be fun. And then I left it alone, and I just put love on it. I imagined the algorithm loving me. The magazine was kind of the same. A business coach told me, hey, you should get in a magazine. I was like, oh, okay. She's like, sign up for this, respond to the emails. I was like, okay. It was like the second email I got. And I was like, oh, maybe I should respond to this one. This one looks interesting. And I was like, nah. And I was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, this sounds fun. Interview landed in printed Women's Day magazine, which I didn't know was that big a deal until it actually happened. That print is different than online. So for me, deciding and having fun, not putting too much on it. So when I catch myself doing the opposite, I'm like, hold on. I want this thing, but I'm doing everything I know doesn't work. So it's a little bit of self-awareness and understanding, but we have patterns. If you can think back in your life on things that you've brought into your life, like what was the process? And sometimes the process is human. Like aligned action is so powerful. You decide you want something, you forget about it. Then somebody talks to you about it all of a sudden. And then you follow through. You're like, hey, you were talking about this thing. What's up with that? And then it's like these little breadcrumbs that the universe starts to deliver to you. Because remember, we talked a lot about this is I think especially as Latin women and women of color, we don't ask for help. So sure, you're praying. You do pray, you do believe, but it's like we ask for help and then we try to do it. Or all of it.
And like, right. And like you said, we don't leave room to receive it. Right. Because then I'm doing all the things and trying to do the how and get things done. that I don't just stop for a minute. And I know that there's so many people like that who
Yeah.
won't just pause for a minute and give the space and opportunity for the work that you've already done, right?
Yeah.
Just slow down and
Slow down to
receive the
receive.
expansion.
Even receive the little breadcrumbs that are coming, right? And there is this humongous piece of when you want things in your life, you must release stuff that
Hmm.
isn't serving you to make room to receive. I
What?
always,
You just, I said basically the same thing you just said on my IG live yesterday, where I was talking about building connections and that sometimes that includes the reevaluation of current relationships and are they in line with who you are today, right? And maybe some of them need to be released so that way you have space for those new people who are aligned with who you are today.
yeah. And so I'm not like a relationship coach per se, but I'm an energy expert. And there's no stronger evidence of energy than with romantic relationships.
Mm,
Um, it's like when you like someone and you think of them and they text you,
mm,
or you have a crush on someone and then you kind of just get over them, and all of a sudden they start talking to you more. It's such proof of energy, because if I like someone and I'm consistently thinking about them, I'm feeding
mm-hmm,
them energy all the time, consciously, like they're
mm-hmm,
aware or not aware of how they are. Like they don't know necessarily maybe that I'm thinking about them, but they get used to the energy and on some level. And so then when I cut it off, when they see me, they're like, "Oh, who is this person?" Like
mm,
it's really strange, and people can always resonate with that. And the thing about when you like someone, same thing, or you're both liking each other, you're texting, you're dating, and you're exchanging energy constantly.
mm-hmm.
And if that person starts liking someone else, you like instantly know that their amount of attention on you has changed,
Yeah.
even though
Shifted.
you don't
You can
have
feel
proof.
it.
This is how women catch their partners and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You can identify the energy change and like the tension, like something's up. That's energetic.
Mm.
Um, and
And
it's
it's sad because, well, the part that makes me really sad is that there's so many messages towards women that say, well, don't trust that. There's no evidence, right? But you're like, but I know, but you have no quote unquote proof. And
yeah,
then that's where it becomes this, what I feel like can be the struggle between this human version of myself and saying, okay, where's this concrete evidence? And
yeah,
then the energetics that say, fuck the evidence. I'm
yeah,
telling you, this is the evidence. We can feel this.
yes. And then eventually you do get confirmation somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been, like something comes up.
Yeah, right.
Um, and there is something about expanding in a way. So if you think about yourself as an energetic being, that you're always every second of the life you live, you're talking to the universe. So every single time that you engage with another human who you know is not for you, meaning they have not proven to you that they are good for you, are going to date you, marry you, all that,
Mm-hmm.
you are reinforcing that that's what you want.
Mm.
Every single time you interact with it, every single
Mm.
time you take a job that's paying you what you know lower than what you know you're worth, you're
Mm-hmm.
reinforcing that. And you will be energetically checked on it. Remember, I said there's no test, but you say you want to make 150,
Mm.
$150,000, and then you'll get presented with 120,
Mm.
110, what you used to make around or something. The universe is actually putting the choices in front of you, like, let's see if she really meant what she said.
Mm.
And so if you pick the lower amount, you're saying that you're back to where you were. right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to that. And so it's, and especially I see this with love so much. I think love is just hard because there's so much worth issues there that I have to help people navigate with to really let them receive what they know they're a match for. And
Mm-hmm.
so when it comes to love, it is that same energy of, if you know this person has not proven themselves to you and they are not right, and you continue to engage with that person and their energy, you are reinforcing that.
Right.
You have, it's like completely cut off and say, universe, I'm ready for the right one. And when
Mm.
those other checks come in, you say, oh, no, thank you.
Nope.
This is a reflection old me. This is, we're moving on to this. Energy,
Yes.
everything. And so the actions that you take, even just a simple text, what for? That energy
Mm.
doesn't serve you. And I love when women want to be friends with everybody. Doesn't serve you, girl. But yeah, with expansion and what we're talking about is that, you are a magnet.
Mm.
One of the things that's vital, besides it, everything always being rooted in love, when you ask for what you want, is giving yourself permission to want what you want,
Mm.
not settling. If I can just get a job that's this much, if I
Mm-hmm.
can just get a man that's this, or a partner that's like that, if I can just, it's all settling energy. And one of the things I saw a video about is this woman was talking about, stop boring God with your tiny visions. That hit me in my heart because I'm always like, I just need these many clients. I was like, that's right.
Mm.
I'm a powerful, multi-dimensional spiritual being.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen evidence in my life of miracles I have literally created. Who gets out of the shower is like, I want to call in 10,000 followers. By the way, by the end, I had 14,000 followers, from 700 to 14,000.
Let's go.
Believe in your magic. Step into
Mm.
that worthiness. Unshackle yourself from the stuff that our culture has taught us. Unshackle yourself from the thing that the world tells you. Stay in your vibrational lane. Sure, people struggle with money in the world, not me.
Mm.
Sure, people hate dating and it's hard, not me.
Mm.
I'm not having that experience. From now on, it's going to be easy peasy.
Oh, to
You get to
stay
decide.
focused. Yes.
Convincing people that they're that powerful is part of my job. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, these principles are so easy, but it takes 6 months to a year to teach them because
Mm-hmm.
so much unshackling. Like, I'm that
Oh.
powerful. I can really do that. Yes, you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that. And let's go look for the evidence in the past and let's start creating more now. You are that powerful.
Mm-hmm. But there's so many things throughout our lives that tell us the opposite.
Yeah.
Again, right? To think small,
Yep.
aim for the things that are attainable. I mean, we do it when kids are transitioning out of high school and if they want to go to college.
Yeah.
The three categories I remember was like, get your safety school, get the school that you've got pretty good odds at getting into, and then do one dream school.
Yeah.
And it's
So
like,
see how,
well,
yeah, we're like out the gate taught not to really have a desire.
mm, and to play it safe.
Hmm. Hmm. Sometimes we have to question. One of the things I do in my manifesting course is we go through this process where I have people write down what they want
Mm-hmm.
and then tell me why over and over and over again. Okay, you want this? Okay, why? And then why? And then why? And then why? And then why? Because sometimes what you want was because the world tells you you should have that,
Mm-hmm. That one.
right? You want it because it was your mom's dream, or your family's been talking about this college for so long that you don't even know what college you want to go to. You don't
Mm-hmm.
even know what profession you want to go to because your dad's a doctor, your grandpa's a doctor, your uncle's a doctor, your brother's like, right? There's
Right.
so many things that we aren't always taught to
Mm.
like really plug into. Who are you? What do you want? Where are you going? How do you want to be? How do you want to live your life? You can live so many different ways nowadays. We have enough people on earth. You don't have to have kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're quote check. I mean, America
Yes.
doesn't think so, but let's not go there.
Yeah.
America.
That's
So,
a whole other episode just on that one. Oh,
and
yeah.
unloading the Latin stuff, right? Like the things that are specific to the culture you were raised in,
Mm-hmm.
and putting them in front of you and saying, "Is this true for me?
Right.
Do I want to live this part of what I've learned?" And putting that down again,
Mm.
releasing, like that makes room to have. I know as a Dominican woman, I don't think any of my aunts are married. They all
Mm.
have children or have been married. There's like such an inconsistency with true love with a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had conversations, and it's just such an interesting belief system that they have about love and commitment and Dominican men and all men. So their experience has been so skewed by that.
Mm.
I didn't I wasn't raised around a lot of my aunts, and I have a very healthy, loving marriage.
Mm.
So I'm breaking that little cycle there, right?
Yes.
But it's like your family, you saw, you felt, you experienced things that now you get to look at and say, am I going to keep this?
Mm.
You don't have to keep it. And then a lot of these things that we learn, we think they're a part of us, and they're not.
Right.
They're not who we are. They're
But you
not.
know what? That piece that you were talking about, the the fact that we can and we should question things. The but even before we hit that point, we have to give ourselves permission to even stop and say, I want to question these things.
Yeah.
Can I do this? How do I go about doing this? So on and so forth. And I think that's kind of where, again, the how comes in. And so many people get in their own way, right? And give themselves permission to expand and dream beyond what they've been taught or what they've seen or where they've grown up. Um, and it's really dope to hear you talking about the expansion piece on the energetics level, because the expansion is and has been a huge part of my work, right? So as usual, one of my favorite questions to people is like, dream big. Where would you like to live? Dream big. What's your ideal, snapshot of your life look like? And there's sometimes where people are like, oh, I have no idea. I don't know where I'll be in 5 years. I can't even imagine that. And taking that time to pull back those layers as to why.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can go into the questioning piece and then you move forward.
Yeah. You just made me double down on the truth that I believe. It's like I feel more expansion in my body, and I can feel it in others
Mm.
when we name the big place first. Not
Hmm.
not next month. Like right now, you may have needs that you want to create in your life. But actually, I think we talked about this when we were coaching. What's the furthest you can see? What's the most amount of money? What's the most amount of joy? What's the most amount of whatever you want that you think,
Mm.
feel you can handle? What is that? Put that in front of you, written,
Mm-hmm.
like write it down, see it in front of you, whatever it needs to be. I feel more expansive, and like that's more reachable for me than my goal now. And it ties into the stop boring God with your tiny visions, because something happens in my body when I think about, let's say, $10 million instead of calling in 100 grand this month, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like 100 grand is cool, it's cool, but $10 million.
Whole body language changed.
Yeah. And it's like, is that the biggest? What about 20? And so
Mm.
I try on the numbers, and there's no just. If I can just get 150, then
Right.
I could do, no, I
We're not
want
settling.
25. You see how my numbers are going to be 25 million. That makes me feel expansive. And the way it really truly works is that when I name that number, and if I really feel how yummy that would be, the universe starts aligning itself to that number. And things start presenting themselves to me where I just type a thing, do a thing. I'm just like going along because I rather focus on something big and beautiful than something, because the 100 and the little things will come in between that. They have to, unless I go win the lotto, which is a possibility too, right? But the in between will, I mean, think about it. The in between will always exist. So why not focus on the big final?
Right. And that gives more space and opportunity for the different ways that you can get to that final, right? It gives permission, I think, to expand our minds and beyond.
And it is a whole thing, girl. It's a whole thing. Sometimes it's hard for me to get my beautiful, successful women to desire, to be so. There's another exercise I have people do where I have them write, if you could have anything with no boundaries, don't worry about money, don't worry about time, don't worry about anything. If you could have anything tomorrow, what would your life be? Because you don't have to name a thing or a car or a house. How do you, because there's a feeling of how you want to feel in your life. So if you can't identify where you're going to be in 5 years, I don't know. Okay, how do you want to feel 5 years from now? How do you want to feel in your life? That you can wake up and go to Rome tomorrow if you wanted to? That you can take your kids to school on your own? Like, what is the thing that makes you feel expansive and like you would be living the most juicy life? And people fear actually thinking the way I'm naming it and feeling it, because then guess what? Then you have to do something about it.
And then what happens?
Giving yourself permission to even feel it. I mean, even allow yourself to desire something. Like it's a whole thing. And it is kind of the beginning of the journey, because like you said, having the awareness that you even need to make a change or that something else is not there takes a minute, because you're so busy meeting these goals, and you get to this place, you're like, wait a minute, is this what I wanted? And that's hard to swallow. It's hard to like, wait a minute, I've worked so long for this degree, I've worked so long for this career, I've done all these things, and now I don't want it. That is I mean, I just went through that.
And I think on the front end, I've had so many conversations with young people, high school students, and really encouraging them to slow down and think about what they want, right? Because I'm trying to give the space for these young people to already expand, so that way we're not expanding once they're in their 30s and in their 40s. It's still absolutely possible. And if we could do this sooner, then let's do it sooner. Give yourself permission sooner. Expand your desires and your dreams and all the things that you're aiming for. Why not? Why not do that 16 instead of 35?
I had so many flashes of things that would be expansive for someone that's young. One of them that I've been telling a lot of people about, this is going to sound really woo.
I love it.
Because it's like hard to explain. There's energy and there's divinity. There's your soul, your spirit. And I believe technically, like the energy in your body is your soul. It's kind of the same, but they're just, go with me on that, they're a little bit different. You have a soul that lives inside of your body. It has all the answers you could ever imagine. It is your guiding light. It is everything to your experience here. The more you can connect with that piece of you, the easier life will be. You'll make choices easier. You'll know where you need to be. You'll understand who you are. Everything is faster. I love all the stuff about meditation. Meditation is great. You know me. I don't like meditating just to like meditate, to clear my mind. I'm like, this was the purpose. I need an intention. So for me, there's a lot of different meditations, but this specific one can help everyone. If you can meditate and use energetics playfully and go meet your soul,
Mm.
have coffee with your soul inside your, let's say, your heart chakra, or like set the intention. I want to feel my soul. I want to connect with my soul, this multidimensional, super powerful thing that Leila told me about. Let's see. How do I feel? What do I see? I yearn it. I want to feel my soul so badly so that I can make decisions quicker, so I can be more intuitive, so I can
Mm.
bring in the life partner, so I can bring in the money, whatever it may be. Use that, your desire, as a motivator
Mm.
for connecting with your soul. Because here's the energetics. If you every day for 5 minutes call in your soul, feel it in your body, you are practicing the frequency of being who you really are.
Mm.
So the universe is going to consistently give you that
Mhm.
experience. It's going to put decisions in front of you that more align with who you are, because you
Right.
are practicing the frequency of who you are.
I love that so much.
Thank
And it
you.
makes perfect sense
But when
from
you
one
said
word to
that,
the
I was
other.
like, oh my God, we need to do a workshop for these young people. Like, because
Mm.
it's not hard to do, right? I always say everything I talk about, everything I do, everything I teach, it's not hard. It just takes practice. Just practice. Just have your intentions.
Mm.
My intention is to have a happy life. My intention is to live an impactful life. My intention is to, just set those intentions daily. And I want to connect with my soul. I want to
Mm.
understand really who I am. I want to let go of human, what I call bullshit.
Mhm.
I love doing that. Uh,
Mhm.
it's like cheating life. It really is cheating the hard parts of life. When you connect with your soul in such a deep way, where you just have miracles happen all the time. Everything
Mm.
just seems easy. Oh, then there's the whole part about, okay, well, you weren't taught easy is safe. So then I got to teach you how to be safe and easy.
That part.
It's a whole other part. So, yeah,
Mhm.
all of it delicious, all of it. I rather be uncomfortable attracting and learning about myself and getting my dreams than uncomfortable in fear and being poor.
Ugh.
You're gonna be fearful. You're gonna be fearful not paying your bills and being at the job you hate. And you're going to be fearful going to go get that degree or whatever you need to go chase
Mhm.
your dreams. Are you gonna be scared
Which
poor?
one?
Or are you gonna be scared
Mhm.
trying to be expansive?
Yeah.
And then fear of failure. Okay, what are you failing now?
Mm.
Like it's like you're
Right.
gonna be. I'm scared every day. And I'm like, okay, fear, let's hold hands. Let's go on to the next. It's always
Right.
scary. It's always scary to share your heart with others, to even name my dreams. I want a
Mhm.
G-Wagon. That's what's
Mm.
happening. I'm going
Mm.
to have a G-Wagon because I don't even like cars and I'm obsessed with this car. So it will
There
be
you
mine.
go.
It
It's
is mine.
yours.
It's mine on
Mhm.
some timeline. It already is mine. Right?
I
I
love that
should have
so
the
much.
money and not want a G-Wagon. I want a Ferrari or something. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I
I
really
love
give
that.
myself permission to want what I want, and I don't have
Mhm.
to have this save the world energy.
Mm.
I will donate to things, yes, but I'm worthy of what I want just because I am. God made me perfect. God, universe, source, whatever higher power you name, I was born,
Mm.
you were born perfect, whole, and amazing. It's this whole world that told you otherwise.
Right.
You
Right.
wanna match the frequency of being born worthy and perfect? Look at a 2-year-old.
Mm.
They're the worthiest.
Listen. And they will
Come
demand all
This
the
is
things
mine.
too.
This is mine. Everything is mine. I deserve everything. You will feed me. You will clean my butt. I want to play. I want to run, and everyone's chasing after them.
That's right.
Master that energy in the world.
I
Let the
like
universe
that.
be the parent.
That's right. Oh, that is perfect. That is perfect.
They're the worthiest creatures.
Listen, my
Yeah.
3-year-old still has that 2-year-old energy.
I know, girl. Mine's 4. Yeah.
Phew. Oh my
So
goodness, you shared so many gems. I guess I'm curious, like, what for my last question to you, what would be an intention that someone could kind of like play with so that it lands with them? But what's an intention that they can play with in the start of their expansion journey?
one thing you can do daily is name that your intention is to be happy.
Mm,
Everything we want, desire, need is because we want to be happy.
mm-hmm,
No one wants anything besides for that at the root of everything. So if on the daily you can surrender all the worry and all the specifics and just name to the universe, God, source, whatever you pray in, say, you know what? I just want to be happy. My
mm,
intention every day and every minute is to put out the vibration and frequency of receiving that happiness. Just do that
that's
every
it,
single day.
y'all.
Put a reminder on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what may happen though, Vanessa, you might start experiencing things that are in the way of you receiving that happiness.
That's right, because it comes back to those choices. What do I
So
do with that?
the universe is like, you want to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Here's all the reasons you're not. This person isn't serving you, so they're gonna act up. This job sucks, so you might have problems at work. Like these
Yep.
things start coming up. But know that everything that happens to you is in your
Mm,
highest order. And you might notice it already. The harder you pray, sometimes the harder things get because the universe is trying to show you that you need to release these things, that these things aren't serving you.
right.
So, but having the intention to always, always just lead me to happiness, let me be happy, let the transition be graceful is the strong, like the most powerful thing you can do and
There
simple.
we go. There we go. Perfect.
Simple.
Um, and so how can people get in contact with you? I'll have it in the show notes, but tell us real quick.
I can be found on Instagram. It's at Leila Rose, your coach.
Mm.
The website's still down. Every time I do these, I'm like, oh, the website's still down. And I'm on Facebook. Leila Rose is on Facebook, Intuitive Coaching
Awesome.
and Energetics Mentor. So everyone can find me that way. Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So, as always, y'all, don't be greedy. Share this episode with the homies. Maybe even if it's just a clip of what Leila and I were talking about today that you know will land beautifully with someone in your life, share it. All right. We're on lots of different platforms for our podcast, and we're also on Instagram. That's where we like to have fun and that's where we like to play. So, gather.heal is how you can find us. And all of our contact info for Gather and Heal and for Leila will be right in the show notes. So, until further ado, when we see you next Friday at 3 o'clock for the next episode, I hope y'all have nothing short of a beautiful fucking day. Peace, y'all.